Great events in a nation's history, great events, whether in peace or war, live on regardless of time. They are deemed great not necessarily for what they achieve, nor for whether they were victories or successes. Rather, great events are distinguished by the quality of the human endeavour they called upon, by the examples they create for ordinary men and women, and by the stories they inspire. And so it is with Anzac Day. We join together today to remember and honour the men and women who have served our country in past conflicts, and those who continue to serve our country in New Zealand's Navy, Army and Air Force. While today is focused around the anniversary of the Gallipoli landing and that campaign, we should also remember other places around the world where we suffered grievous losses. Places with evocative names like Passchendaele, Messines, the Somme. The Western Front claimed the lives of 12,500 New Zealanders. And at Passchendaele on the 12th of October 1917, 2,700 casualties were suffered in a single day. What we commemorate today was no military triumph, but more a humbling triumph of human valour. The courage and endurance of those who did their duty at Gallipoli remains a vivid memory and source of identity, belonging and pride for every New Zealander and Australian. In just over a year's time, the world will begin to commemorate the centenary of the First World War. In New Zealand and in lands in which their war was waged, there will be many opportunities to reflect on the impact of that war on our society, our communities, and our families. Every community, every town, every city in New Zealand will mark the centenary some way, acknowledging the service, the sacrifice, and the impact this war had on those who lived through it and the changed nation it left behind. All of us have links, direct or indirect, to those who served their country in the Great War, whether overseas or on the home front. So next year, 2014, will be a time for us as a nation to strengthen or rediscover those links. From the Second World War, other place names resonate with New Zealanders. El Alamein, Monte Cassino, Crete. We also suffered heavily in the air war over Europe. More than 1,700 of our airmen losing their lives in Bomber Command. On Anzac Day, we also remember not only those who died in the service of their country, but also those who returned home, bearing lifelong scars, physical or emotional, as a result of their experiences. We also pay tribute to the war veterans still with us today, those who served in the Second World War, places such as Korea, Malaya, Vietnam, and Bosnia. And it's good to see some of you here this morning. Thank you very much for your service. And alongside these veterans, we also remember the New Zealanders that continue to serve our country, members of the current Defence Force. Like the Anzacs of the past, they also come from all walks of life and from right across New Zealand. Over the past few months, New Zealand has withdrawn most of our service people from missions in Timor-Leste, the Solomon Islands and Afghanistan. All missions we can be very proud of. While we mourn the losses we've incurred, we can say that in those countries we have made a real and tangible difference, especially to the lives of the common person. The measure of success in these places is possibly best found in simple activities that the New Zealand presence has helped make possible. Being able to send their children to school, starting enterprises, undertaking commerce freely, being able to exercise their democratic rights and freedoms, choosing who represents them, things we take very much for granted here in New Zealand. Today we particularly remember those lost or wounded in Afghanistan. Like those killed in past conflicts, the communities where our most recent fallen come from do whatever they can to support those who have lost their most valuable treasure, their children. Today is a very special day for all New Zealanders, one we share with Australia. The Anzac story touches a deep part in all of us. It's a story of sacrifice and courage, of commitment and giving, which resonates deep within us all. Few of us have ever had the chance to risk everything ourselves or chance our loved ones to the dangers of war. But for many generations of New Zealanders, these memories are very real. Brave men and women who fought for our country so that we can enjoy the freedom we have today. It was at Gallipoli that our two nations formed a permanent and long-lasting bond that continues to this day. And the Anzac connection remains one of the cornerstones of our Defence Force. So here we stand on this most significant day, along with thousands of others across New Zealand, Australia, and in many countries around the world, to honour ordinary men and women who've contributed to a great tradition. This is a day when all generations gather at those place names where the names of our ancestors, our tūpuna, are carved in stone memorials to the fallen. Anzac Day commemorates not only the bravery of our people, but also what it costs to live by your principles, to be free. We gather, as we shall always gather, not to glorify war, but to remind ourselves that we value who we are and the freedoms we possess, and to acknowledge the courage and sacrifice of those who contributed so much in shaping the identity of this nation and those who continue to serve. Today is a precious day, a day for reflection, remembrance, and a day to stand, not as a Māori nation, not as a Pākehā nation, but as a unified nation. While we look to the past, we also embrace the future, which is safeguarded by the dedication of those who continue to serve our country. All who have served our country and made the ultimate sacrifice are held in our hearts and our minds. E kore rātou, e kore heketia, pēnei a tātou kua mahuene. E kore hoki rātou e ngoikore, aha koa kua pēahia i ngā āhuatanga o te wā, te heke ngā atu o te rā, tae no atu ki te aranga mai i te ata, ka maumaharo tunu tātou ki a rātou. We will remember them. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chief Aaron Pau of the Royal New Zealand Navy, and I'm proud to serve you, the people of our great and proud nation, Aotearoa, New Zealand. Nō reira e te iwi, haere atu rā, ngā manaakitanga o te atua, a te atua koutou katoa e manaaki, e tiaki, e arahia i ngā wā katoa, i ngā wāhi katoa, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou, tēnā tātou katoa. Lest we forget.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.